Mark Carney didn't even wait a full day after landing in Japan. Within hours of touching down in Tokyo, the Canadian Prime Minister was already sitting across the table from Japan's Prime Minister, signing a new strategic partnership that could reshape Canada's economic future. Energy cooperation, critical minerals, advanced technology, defense collaboration, and perhaps most importantly, new markets. Because this agreement does something Donald Trump absolutely does not want to see. It gives Canada leverage. For years, Trump's strategy toward Canada has relied on one simple reality: dependence on the United States market. But every time Carney signs another partnership, in India, in Australia, and now in Japan, that leverage weakens. And that is exactly why this latest move in Tokyo matters so much.
After arriving in Japan, Mark Carney didn't even wait a full day. Within hours of landing in Tokyo, the Prime Ministers of Canada and Japan were seated across from each other at a table to sign a new strategic alliance that could drastically alter Canada's economic future. This alliance would cover energy cooperation, critical minerals, advanced technology, defense cooperation, and perhaps most importantly, new markets. Because Donald Trump is adamantly opposed to what this agreement accomplishes. Canada gains influence as a result. Trump's approach to Canada has been predicated for years on one straightforward fact: reliance on the U.S. market. However, that leverage diminishes each time Carney enters into a new relationship in Australia, India, and now Japan. And that's precisely why this most recent action in Tokyo is so important. The speed of events was astounding from the minute Mark Carney arrived in Tokyo. In a matter of hours, he met with the Prime Minister of Japan and said that Canada and Japan would form a comprehensive strategic alliance. Defense, energy security, increased trade, and cutting-edge technologies that will influence the world economy in the next decades are the four main areas of collaboration at the heart of the accord. However, there is something much more significant hidden behind those headlines. In areas that will determine the next generation of global dominance, Canada and Japan are coordinating their economic prowess. This covers projects using liquefied natural gas, the production and processing of vital minerals, collaboration on semiconductors, the development of artificial intelligence, and a variety of new renewable energy technologies. These industries are not only significant, they serve as the strategic cornerstones of contemporary economies. Furthermore, Canada has everything Japan needs to ensure its long-term industrial development. Large reserves of rare earth materials, dependable energy sources, and a stable democratic partner that can support robust supply chains. This implies that this agreement is more than just a diplomatic declaration. It is a useful economic alliance intended to fortify both nations and lessen their susceptibility in a world economy that is becoming more unpredictable. This is the point at when the narrative turns geopolitical. Because Canada and Japan are not the only parties involved in this agreement. It has to do with leverage. For years, Donald Trump has attempted to coerce Canada into making concessions through economic pressure and tariffs. However, that tactic is only effective if Canada has nowhere else to go, and Mark Carney is ensuring that's no longer the case. The Indo-Pacific region includes China, India, Australia, Japan, the EU, and Gulf countries. Carney is creating a network of alliances based on Canada's advantages in technology, minerals, and energy. As such alliances expand, Canada becomes less susceptible to American pressure, which makes tariffs less effective, threats less potent, and Canada stronger in negotiations. Put another way, Washington's domestic leverage decreases as Carney does more deals overseas. These collaborations are crucial to Canada's long-term economic plan for another reason. Rare earth elements necessary for electronics and defense technology, key minerals utilized in advanced batteries, and enormous energy reserves capable of powering large industrial systems are just a few of the resources that Canada happens to have. Canada has a natural advantage in several industries on the international scene. Analysts claim that these benefits are precisely what enable Canada to broaden its economic alternatives in a world that is changing quickly and forge solid trading ties outside of the United States. Japan has a deep understanding of this dynamic. Its sophisticated manufacturing industry relies on safe supply lines and dependable raw material sources that are difficult for geopolitical unrest to undermine. However, a lot of those supply networks are currently under tremendous pressure. Rare earth mineral processing is dominated by China. With taxes and protectionist measures, the U.S. is becoming more and more inward-looking. As a result, nations like Japan are left looking for trustworthy allies who can provide resources and stability. Canada is nearly ideal for that function. It is a democratic nation with robust institutions, abundant natural resources, and a solid reputation for dependability and international collaborations. For this reason, Japan views Canada as a strategic economic ally rather than just a trading partner. This is not a string of unconnected diplomatic trips. The Indo-Pacific region is witnessing the implementation of this well-thought-out approach. In order to improve Canada's economic standing and lessen its susceptibility to pressure from any one nation, especially Donald Trump, Mark Carney is successfully establishing a network of alliances. He has previously improved Canada's relations with India, increased collaboration with Australia, and now established a strategic alliance with Japan on this journey. Each of these accords focuses on areas where Canada has a significant worldwide impact, especially defense cooperation, energy, vital minerals, and innovative technologies. When combined, these collaborations serve as the cornerstone of a much bigger project. It is becoming more widely accepted among analysts that Carney is attempting to create a larger network of Indo-Pacific alliances that may eventually link with European countries as well. One of the biggest economic networks in the contemporary world might be created if that idea comes to pass. Together, Canada, China, India, Australia, Japan, and the European Union would form a strong alliance of developed nations that could trade, invest, and innovate without being solely dependent on the U.S. market. That means striking a balance so that Canada has far more negotiating power in the coming years, but it does not mean replacing Canada's relationship with the United States. And that kind of strategic balance can make all the difference in the fiercely competitive global economy of today. Take a look at what has transpired in just a few weeks. After arriving in India, Carney signs important contracts. He continues on to Australia, where he fortifies energy and security connections. Now, within hours of his arrival in Japan, he announces a strategic relationship. Every deal conveys the same message, and this is diplomacy at full speed. Canada no longer depends on a single partner, market, or power. Rather, it is creating a worldwide network of partnerships that increase its possibilities and fortify its position. According to Donald Trump, this is a major issue since Canada acquires greater clout on the international scene and less effective economic pressure the more allies it has. Additionally, Mark Carney's most recent action in Japan demonstrates his response to the new global reality. By forging solid alliances throughout the Indo-Pacific and beyond, he is increasing Canada's options rather than responding to pressure. These accords, which range from India to Australia and now Japan, are slowly improving Canada's standing in international trade and opening up new prospects. Make sure you subscribe the channel and enable notifications so you don't miss our upcoming report if you want a clear, in-depth examination of how these developments are changing Canada's position in the world. I'd like to hear from you now. Do you believe that Canada will have significant power against Donald Trump's trade demands thanks to its expanding Indo-Pacific partnerships? Please share your opinions in the comments section below.